obviously we get going here quickly. So focus is turned to Clemson, and with one less day, obviously got to turn that around quick. So that's where we are. That's what we're in the midst of preparing to do, and get some film and get prepared for them.
Thanks, Coach. Royal, we'll start with you.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good.
Coach, speaking of just last night, and like as you said, as you move forward, a busy week this week, what was your main takeaway from last night that if there's like any type of like mishap that you need to fix and correct going forward, that you like to kind of see improvement from the team? I'm starting with this matchup Wednesday against Clemson.
Play defense.
All right, Jim, over to you.
Okay. Royal sort of took my question, but can you Kara, can you elaborate a little bit? Was it a team breakdown? Were there just some bad matchups? Obviously, as James Freer did what she wanted to in the second half. Can you just? Yeah, I'm sure you probably stayed awake and looked at the film. Just can you give us a little better idea of what went wrong defensively?
You just got to play our defense. I mean, you guys have watched us play for years. We don't give up 25-point quarters like that. Certainly not three of them in one game. Like it's not at rocket science. We just got to play defense better.
Okay. Well, let me switch to an offensive question. It's obvious that Reagan's in a bit of a slump right now. How does she get back on track?
Reagan's got to play better. I mean, that's what it is. You're a senior, and she's got to be more consistent. She can't take herself out of games by getting foul trouble like she did last night. Um, you know, at this point, she's got to help herself. She's got to be aggressive and attack and play well. That's what you need your seniors to do. Um, and that's what we need our seniors to do. We need our seniors to play better. And, Reagan's got to do that for us to reach our potential. We know we're at our best when Reagan's playing well, and Reagan's got to do that.
You mentioned aggressive attack. I've noticed she's not getting to the foul line at all the last few games. Is she settling for jump shots too much?
I'd have to check free throw rate overall. I don't know that Reagan's ever been like a high frequency free throw player. So I don't want to say that she's doing it less than her career average. I don't think she's like a get to the free throw line 8 to 10 time type player. Um, but she's got to assert herself more for sure. And again, when you say assert yourself, that doesn't mean she has to score 25 points. She's got to impact the game more. I mean, that's her job.
Mhm. Well, I thought T played a great game last night. Can you talk a little bit about that?
In what half?
Pardon?
In what half you thought T played a great game?
Well, I thought she seemed to be the one player. Okay. Well, I don't think anybody played well in the second half defensively, but she seemed to be the one player who was willing to step up and make some, and take some shots. It seemed like Duke was a little bit hesitant on offense down the stretch. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing was just, such a weird game. There were so many mental mistakes. There was, a lane violation on a missed free throw, and there was a 4 point possession State had. After they missed the first shot, there were a couple of loose balls that Duke didn't go for. I guess assuming they were going to be out of bounds, and State kind of swooped in on them. It just seemed like like you said, Reagan had a couple of her fourth and fifth fouls were the kind of plays where it seemed like she didn't have very good situational awareness. It just didn't seem like it was a Duke basketball game. At least T looked like she was out there competing. I guess there's a question in there somewhere. I'm sorry, I kind of got off on a
Yeah.
tangent there, but it was a frustrating game to watch because it's like I kept saying, "What is this? This is not the Duke team I've been watching."
Like I said, I just didn't think we defended at our usual level. and didn't play as well as we can. At the end of the day, it's a tie game with like 2 minutes left on the road against a top 15 team. Like, let's not lose our perspective here.
Mhm.
Those guys are a good team, and good teams, are going to have good stretches and are going to make things tough for you on either end. So, we're up 4 going into the fourth on the road against a top 15 team, and we're in a tie game on the road against a top 15 team in the last couple minutes. It's actually where you want to be in those games, and we just didn't close it out. There's a lot of things we didn't do well for sure, but that's every game, right? There's some things you do well, some things you don't. I think we did have some competitive spirit there, and even though we didn't defend at our usual level, they fought really hard. They fought really hard, and I'm proud of them for that. Because fighting when you're not playing your best is sometimes hard for young people, because it's easy to fight hard when you're playing well. When you're not playing as well as you can, or you want to, it's hard. So we're right there, and we just got to keep pushing, learn from the tape, and then, like I said, the quick turnaround. You can't really stay in it too long. We're already a day behind, so we've got to move forward and try to get back on the winning track.
Okay, thanks.
Royal, back to you.
Hey, Coach. I know during the press conference last night, Coach West he spoke on your team's ability to kind of lock down defensively, not really giving that many points. I think 49 points per game the last several games. He's mentioned that your team focuses on second chance points and finding the open shooters, and how he wanted to kind of reiterate to stop that in the second half. Do you think it was just a case of just good shots, which a lot of shooters were open, they were just missing shots, or was it just like within the flow of the offense, just out of sync at certain times? What do you think was like the main difference offensively? Was it just missing shots, mental lapses?
Yeah, listen, in a game that close, man, it's like a coin flip. Like, it's not like we did everything wrong in the second half and they did everything right. They just executed late and we didn't. Like, that's the difference. Like, it wasn't like a 20-point game. It's a tie game, 2-point game, 3-point game the whole time. And they made more plays than we did down the stretch. And kudos to them. I mean, that's what it is in a big time game, right? Like, they had some players step up and make big time plays. They got a lot of experience over there. Hayes is a 5th-year senior. Rivers and James are seniors. They've been in big games. They've obviously been to a Final Four. We don't have that experience. Doesn't mean we can't beat them. We've obviously beat them before. It's just a fact. So their experienced players made plays. That's what it was. Like, whether it was missed throw by us, or whether it was missed open threes by us, whether it was made open three by them, whether it was made drive by them, whether it was an offensive rebound on a free throw for them. Like, you could name 100 things, but I'm not going to say like, oh, this one thing was the reason why we lost. It was a game. It went back and forth. There's a lot of good things on both sides. There's a lot of bad things on both sides. And we just came up short. It happens. We got to move on. We got to move on quickly, and we got to use the lessons that we learned from it, and prepare. We got a tough month. We got tough road games. I said this last night. Like, some years, man, your road schedule's tough. Some years your home schedule's tough. For us this year, our road schedule's tough. That's not an excuse. That's just a fact. Team that's number 1 in the conference right now, we play on the road. The team that's number 2, we play on the road. The team that's number 3, we play on the road. The team that's number 4, we play on the road. The team that's number 6, we play on the road. And you only play everybody once. And so we've got to figure out how to win these games. We haven't lost them all. We lost two. They were both on the road against top 15 teams. I mean, like, it's tough to do. It's tough to do. So we're learning, we're growing, we're trying to get ourselves to the point where we could do that. And we didn't do that well last year. But then we got to the tournament and we did it, right? We did it in the second round. So this team and their trajectory, they're learning. All these games are building blocks. And we got to keep growing and use it. And we're going to get more opportunities to play top 15 teams on the road in this league in this month, exactly in this month, right? So we've got to take lessons from that and then keep growing and then keep improving. We got to keep improving and keep getting better. And that's all of our jobs. It's my job first, but it's all of our jobs, our players' jobs. Everybody's got to get better. And that's what the games in February are for. There's more intensity in them. They mean more. There's a lot at stake. And you got to be able to see how you stand up in those situations. And I thought, we handled the environment well. I thought, we handled and put ourselves in position, late to have a chance to win the game. And it just didn't break our way. And hopefully if we get in that position next time, it will.
Coach, to follow quickly with that, you just mentioned you keep learning, you keep growing, using those building blocks. I know you've mentioned throughout the season that you would rather be in the tests, especially on the road, which kind of tests your team to get you prepared for March, rather than blowing somebody out by 60. I think you stated that earlier in this year. When you take that into consideration and you look forward towards March Madness and a one game by game mentality, start with Clemson this weekend, and I think a game on Sunday, I believe also. If a player came to you and said, Coach, what do I need to do well to kind of excel this team? Whether that's the dirty work, talking on defense, getting back in transition, just being a communicator offensively and defensively, what would that kind of notation be towards your team, towards that player?
For us, it just starts with competing. Like you gotta bring just a competitive spirit to the game. No matter if you start the game or you come in off the bench, no matter if you play in the first quarter or you don't get in till the third quarter. When you come out on the court, just be ready to compete. Because the game is going to throw different things at you. It's going to throw monkey wrenches, into it, and you're not going to be able to perfectly plan out how it's going to go. Wouldn't that be nice? To just perfectly plan out how everything's going to go. It's not going to work that way. So it's really just competitive spirit, playing hard effort, and then being disciplined, being where you're supposed to be on offense and defense. And so if a player is struggling, it's like get back to that, like get back to the competitive piece and get back to being where you're supposed to be on offense and defense. And you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked if you just do that, how many things will start going your way in the game, because the game rewards that. The game rewards competitors. It always has. It always will. That's how the game's built. The game's built to reward the competitors. And that's what we have to keep doing. And we have competitors. I'm not saying that like as a shot at my team that, oh, we need to compete because we're not. No, we are. But we have to keep growing in our competitive spirit to be able to get to a higher level, which we all want to reach our full potential.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Mike, over to you.
Thanks very much. Hey, Coach, good to see you again. I know you've discussed last night ad nauseum, and you talked about lessons and the things that you guys or your players are learning. How receptive to the learning has this group been from day one? Because you've got familiarity, but every team is different, and lessons like last night inside of Reynolds obviously can be, as you know this as a coach, those kind of losses can be maybe a bigger help than a win.
I never looked at result as the lesson. I think that's like a little vain. I think the lessons lie in each possession, how, hey, in this possession, I Oh, I see what they were trying to attack. Okay, yeah. Like I understand, coach. Yeah, I see my body position could be better here because that would help this. Yeah, I didn't have the right angle on my screen in this possession. And I think if you keep it kind of to um, that scope, that narrower scope than the wide scope of result, um, you find you have much less turbulence emotionally through the season. And I'm not saying that every flight shouldn't have a little turbulence. It should. Turbulence is good sometimes, but for them daily, I want them focusing on those possessions and those details, um, because I believe that leads to results. Like I believe over time, like I believe enough of those, changes, enough of those growths will lead to good results. And we've had a lot of good results this year. We've had a great season so far. And so we want to continue that, and we want to keep learning from those possessions. So that's how we look at it. The disappointment is there. It's an emotional game. You want to win it, but I think I would have woke up this morning with the same film package. Put it that way. If we'd have won or lost the game, the film package to the team was going to be the same. It's not longer because we lost, because the mistakes are still the mistakes, right? The things that we screwed up are still the mistakes. Like I don't have a longer film sorter after we lose and then, a shorter one we won. Hey, we won, guys, we're good. No, no, you're about to lose. If you do that, you're about to lose. So that's kind of how I look at it. Result obviously plays a big part. I'm not minimizing that. But for what we need to do and what we try to get our players to focus on, it's really about growing in their possessions and growing in their discipline and growing in their understanding of where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. And then we just have this belief within our program that result will take care of itself. If you daily do that, then result's going to take care of itself.